Can you people hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sunita, can you hear me? Sunita, is my voice audible?
Are you talking to me or to the other one?
No, no,
The
no,
other
to
attendee?
another one. Sunita, can you
Yeah.
hear me, Sunita? Just give me 1 minute. Huh?
Okay.
Okay. So, till now we have completed 11 modules, and today we are going to start with module number 12. So, module number 12 is all about CMS. CMS stands for Change Management System. So, in this module, I am going to explain you like how the changes will be happening in the requirements in the middle of the project. What are the reasons why changes are going to happen? And we are going to see with change request, change of scope, and acceptable changes. In case changes are taking place in the middle of the project, how to handle them, and what are the important points that we need to take care while doing this change request process. And I will show you some practical change requests how we have done. Okay. So here CMS means change management system. So this CMS explains about the requirements. So if I say requirements here, these requirements we are going to get in the middle of the project, not in the initial requirement gathering process. So once if you do requirement gathering initially and start the project, in the middle of the project, you are going to get the requirements. So these requirements you are going to get from vendors or users or clients or other stakeholders. And these requirements could be a business requirement or a user requirement or a solution requirement. Okay. So here first we need to learn about three terminologies. What are those means? Change request, change of scope, and acceptable changes. So change request means any work that is related to design and development. So that is not included in the signed off SOW. So that we are going to call it as change request. Okay. So any work related to design and development which is not included in the signed off SOW, that we are going to consider as change request. So let me explain. So first, whenever the client is going to give project to the IT company, so there will be a team called as HR team or onboarding team. They are going to do they are going to assign this project to a project manager. Okay. So now the project manager is going to conduct a kickoff meeting, and he will finalize the resources that has to work for this particular project. And after that, he will give sign off on that kickoff meeting, and then he will call the BA and ask the BA to prepare SOW, that is statement of work. So how to prepare SOW, I have already explained you in module number 6. So after preparing SOW, then we are going to show this SOW to the client, The client is going to review this SOW. If he feels that everything is okay, then he will give sign off. So once client gives the sign off on this SOW, then after that, if he comes and says that we have forgot something to written in the SOW, then we will say the SOW is already signed off, so you need to give a change request. Okay. Then next one is change of scope. Change of scope means if we are making any changes related to design and development post SRS sign off, that we are going to treat as change of scope. Okay. That means once SOW is done, then the BA is going to prepare SRS, that is system requirement specification document, and it will be reviewed by the consent team, and after that the BA will present this SRS to the client. Then client is going to review, and if he finds that everything is okay, all requirements and functionalities are included, then he will give sign off on that SRS document. After giving sign off, if the next day if the client comes and says that you have to make some changes to this particular requirement or particular functionality, then we will say the SRS document has been already signed off, you have to give a change of scope request. Okay. Then acceptable changes means any changes which can be completed within 1 hour, that we are going to call it as acceptable changes. So for acceptable changes, we are not going to charge anything from the client, but for change request and change of scope, we are going to charge some price from the client. Okay. So these three terminologies are very important. The interviewer is going to ask you what is the difference between change request, change of scope, and acceptable changes. So blindly remember, post SOW is change request, post SRS is change of scope, and if you are making any changes within 1 hour, it is acceptable changes. Okay. Then let me show you what are the reasons why the requirements will be getting changed. So these are the reasons. So requirements, errors, conflicts, and inconsistencies during analysis, evolving customer end user knowledge of the system, technical schedule or cost problems, changing customer priorities like changing business environment, emergence of new competitors, staff changes, etc., new laws, regulations, then environmental changes and organizational changes, changes in structure and process, then new technology. So these are some reasons why requirements will be getting changed. So let me explain them in practical. So practically, I will explain what could be the reasons. The first one is like wrong gathering of requirements. So in case if BA is going to gather wrong requirements and give it to the developers, then developers are going to develop that, and in the initial stages, the system will function in a normal process. But if you keep on going into deep, the system giving bugs. So once if you analyze and see, you will come to know that the requirements are wrong. So at that time, the system demands to change the requirements. Okay, this is one reason. Second one is incomplete requirements. So if you give incomplete requirements also, what happens? In the middle of the project, the system will give bugs. So if you start doing analysis, then you will come to know the requirements are not complete. So at that time also, change the system demands to change the requirements. Okay. Then third one is change in business conditions. That means if the client is going to change his business conditions without informing to the IT team. So at that time also, the system demands to change the requirements. For example, if you take ATM application, so the initial business requirements are if user is going to give wrong password for 3 times, the system has to block the card for 24 hours. Now, if the client is going to change this, like if the system is going to, if the user is going to give wrong password for 5 times, not for 3 times, the system has to block the card for 48 hours, not for 24 hours. If we change this business rule, then without informing to the IT team, then it also demands to change the requirements in the middle of the project. Okay. The next one is if the client is diverting from old technology to new technology. So the new technology may demand some new requirements. At that time also, we are going to change the requirements. Then next one is lack of communication and coordination between the client and IT company. So if there is no proper communication and coordination between the IT company and the client, then also the requirements will be getting changed. Okay. Then if the IT company is not giving proper solution to the client, that means if the client is going to explain a problem and if the IT company is unable to give a proper solution. So without proper solution, you will start working on the project. But in the middle of the project, the project the project will demand to change the requirements. Okay. And if the IT company and client don't know what to do and how to do, that means let us assume that the client is illiterate. Just simply he will say this is my business and you have to develop a project. Then here the client is not giving any requirements, any stakeholders. So what the IT company will do, it will start doing R&D, research and development. It will keep on trying with different options. So at that time also we will keep on changing the requirements. Okay. Then next one is unrealistic expectations during the development process. Now if you keep a project in the development process and if unrealistic problems we are facing, then also the requirements will be getting changed. Okay. So these are some reasons why requirements will be getting changed. In case if requirements are getting changed, what is the process we need to follow? So blindly we can't do the change request because the client is going to invest nearly some million trillions of rupees. Okay. So there should be some process. So everything should be documented and there should be process for future reference. Okay. So what is that process means? Here you can see. So these are the steps we are going to follow. That is, first step is receive change request. Then second one is clarify and document. Then analyze and determine the impact to project. Okay. Then disposition and notify requester of disposition, document disposition, rebaseline the project and manage project to new baseline. Okay. So these are the steps which we have to do in change request process. Okay. So let me explain in practical how we are going to do. Okay. So first step is CRF. CRF stands for change request form. So please be noted, we are not going to do change request to oral communication. It is mandatory that we need to have written communication to do the change request. Okay. So here in the real-time project, real-time scenarios, how it goes means, once if the company gets a project, IT company, so first we are going to have calls with the clients and these calls depends upon the availability of the time. Okay, so here what happens means, like, where some companies, with some projects, we are going to have daily calls or weekly calls or bi-weekly calls. In this way, it depends upon the client and IT company availability of time. So in the call, first they will give a indication. The client is going to give a indication. By next call, you may have a change requirement. Then we will say, okay, you forward change request form, we will take care. Okay. Then they are going to forward a change request form. So change request form contains some details like what are the requirements that need to be changed, why we are changing, what is the process. Okay. So the client has to fill up all those and give it to us. Okay. Then second one is, once we receive change request, then we are going to check the possibility of the change request. Okay. Now, don't assume that the change request is going to contain a only single change. It may contain multiple changes. So once you get this change request form, then we are going to check the possibility of that change request. Okay. That means here we are going to have a detailed discussion with the client. We are going to have a meeting and we are going to have a detailed discussion with the client. In this discussion, we are going to mainly see with 3 points. The first one is whether the change is a major, minor or medium change. Second one is it possible to do these changes at this point of time? Third one is, can we make the changes with the available resources or any extra resources required? So these are the 3 things that we are going to see. Okay. So whether the change is a minor or medium or major. Second one is it possible to make the changes at this point of time? And third one is, like, can we make the changes with the available resources or not? So these 3 points we are going to discuss in the client meeting. Okay. Then third point is analysis, conducting impact analysis. So once we have discussion, then we are going to conduct impact analysis. That means, in case if we are making these changes, on what requirements and in which modules it is going to show impact, whether it is showing any impact or not. If it is showing whether it is positive impact or negative impact, that means if you make these changes, any other modules or requirements are getting impacted. So in case if they are getting impacted, whether it is going to give positive result or negative results. So that we are going to do. So once after doing impact analysis, we are going to prepare a document and we will submit. So in case if it is showing any negative impact, we are not going to continue. If it is showing positive impact or no impact on other modules or requirements, then only we will continue. Okay. Then in the fourth step, we are going to conduct price estimation. So here the project manager, business analyst and lead developer sit and decide. So the project manager says, this is the change. So these are the changes we have to do. How much time you required and how many resources you require. Then the project manager is going to estimate and say a figure, saying that, okay, I require 20 hours of time and 2 resources, for example. Then the project manager is going to add some buffer time to them, some buffer resources. So he will take it as 30 resources, 30 hours and 3 resources. And then he will estimate the price. For example, let us say per hour we are going to charge $80. So 80 into 30. So it will become $2,400. 2,400 into two resources. So $4,800. So in this way is going to give price estimation to the client. Okay. Now once the client gets the price estimation, then we will wait for his decision. Okay. So we will submit this price quotation to the client. Sorry. And now client is going to decide. If he feels that this price quotation is reasonable, he will say, okay, we will go with changes. And if he thinks that the quotation is very high, he will ask for the discount. Now it depends upon the project manager to give discount or not. So if the project manager says that no, this is the best price which we can give, then the client will think like, is this change is necessary at this point of time? In case if he feels that it is mandatory, then he will carry. In case if he feels that it is not mandatory, then he will say, okay, we are dropping this change request, we will check later. So in case if he feels it's mandatory, then he will say, okay, we are accepting for the price, go with further process. Then we will ask the client to make upfront payment. So in change request, the entire amount will be taken as upfront. Then only we will start doing change request. Okay. Then in the next step, the BA is going we are going to discuss with the concerned team about this related to this change request, and we will involve all the people who are related with this change request, and we will do changes. In the sense, the developer starts doing changes technically. So when they start doing changes, we the BAs are going to update the RTM and SRS document. Why? Because here there are some changes happening. So we have to maintain version controlling. So we are going to update all related documents. Okay. Then after that, once the developer completes changes, they will be doing testing. So once testing is completed, they will take the permission of the client and they will deploy this change request to the production server. So this is how the process goes to do change request. Okay. So there are some important points which we have to remember while doing change request. What are those means? Like, see, change request, actually each and every company is going to have a change management process, change management system. So this system explains how they are going to receive the changes and who is the authorized person and what kind of decisions they have taken. And generally change request will be done by the project manager. But in some companies, they will give the option to the BA to perform change request. So at that time, the BA has to remember some important points. What are those means? The first one is clear clarification with the client. So related to change request, you have to take a clear clarification from the client, like what changes is required exactly. Okay. So in which module is required changes. Okay. So ask request in writing and confirm your understanding in writing. So if possible, you have to ask the client to put their change request in the form of writing. Then whatever you have understand, you have to reply them in the same way, like writing them. Why? Because if you are going to do some oral communication, so there will be miscommunication. How it comes means, you will be staying in India and client will be staying in other countries. So the slang and the essence they speak, we may not understand. So that's the reason we will ask the client to put everything in written, and you will also reply in written format only. Okay. Then next one is check the effect of changes. That is nothing but doing impact analysis. That means once if you make these changes, which modules, which requirements are going to show impact. So this impact is positive impact or negative impact, that we are going to see. Okay. The next one is involve all the people who are affected with the change request. Now, if you start doing change request, you have to involve all the people who are affected with the changes. Okay. Then, in case if you decided not to make changes, then in a professional way, you have to explain to the client why you are not making changes. So, what is the reason? Okay. And what happens in case if you are not making changes? Like we will explain what are the disadvantages that will be there in case if you are not making, if you are making the changes, how it is going to show impact, negative impact on other requirements. Okay. Then at the same time, you will explain what are the advantages you are going to get in case if you are not making the changes. Okay. So this all we are going to explain in professionally and patiently. Okay. Then next one is update your project plan. So in case if you are making the changes, you have to update your project plan because many things will be getting changed. The deliverables date could be getting changed and each and every role will be getting changed. So all this we are going to update. Then after that, inform team members and others about CR. So once this change request is done, then we are going to inform to the team members and others. That means we will socialize. These are the changes that they have taken place. Okay. So these are the points. Just go through the notes here. Once you complete, just let me know. I will change the page.
Done. 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 Done.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. Let me show you the formats of change request. So this is how the format goes. Okay. So here there won't be standard format. So every company will follow different format. Okay. So project name, in the sense, here we are going to give project name, and requested by means the client is requesting us. So we will give the concerned person name from client's end, and presented to means the concerned person name from the IT company end, and then change number. Change number means, like this, we are going to keep once you get this change request. Each and every company will have a software called as bug tracker. So we are going to input all these details in bug tracker, and if you save, it is going to give a unique number. That number is nothing but change number or BT number. So it will be a unique for each and every request. So with the help of that number, we are going to trace in future. So that number we are going to give, and here we are going to mention the date and change name. So here what we are changing, that we are going to give, and description of change, here we are going to give the description. Then reason why we are changing, whether the existing system is not supporting to this requirement, or this is a new requirement, or you are facing some problems with the existing system, whatever it is there, we are going to give reason. Then here we are going to give effect on deliverables. That means if you make these changes, if any delivery dates are changing or not. And effect on organization. That means if you are making these changes, should we need to change the process or not. And effect on schedule. So other any schedules are there. So whether it is showing impact on schedules or not. Okay. Then effect on project cost. So for analysis, how much it is going to take, and for development, how much it is going to take, that we are going to specify here. And effect of not approving this change. In case if you are not approving this change, what kind of impact it is going to show. And reason for rejection. So in case if you are rejecting, then why you are rejecting, you have to give the reason. Okay. Then the concerned person has to sign. Okay. So this is how the change request format looks like. So let me show you another one. So this is another format. Okay. So here CR number is nothing but, as I said, here we are going to give bug tracker number, or whatever the number we are going to get from the bug tracker. So type of CR, whether it is an enhancement or defect. That means, did you get any, are you changing any requirements, or whether the system is showing any problem. Okay. Then next one is submitter name. So the person who is submitting, so that name we are going to give. Okay. Then next one is brief description of request. So here whatever the change request we give, that we have to specify. And date submitted and date required. Here we are going to give the dates and priority, whether it is low, medium, high or mandatory, whatever it is, and reason for change. So what is the reason that we are going to specify, and other artifacts impacted. So if any other artifacts are impacted, that we are going to specify. And assumptions and notes. So if client is giving any assumptions and notes, here we are going to specify. And comments. If you want to give any comments, here you can specify. Or if the client is giving any documentation or any images like that, so attaches or references. We will click yes and we will create a link and specify the link here. Then after that, approval signature. Okay. Then project manager initial analysis. Like project manager is going to do this analysis. Our impact, duration impact, schedule impact, cost impact, comments, recommendations, approval signature. Then next one is change control board decision. So like as I said, some companies will be having separate change control board. There will be just like a committee. So they are going to take decision. So decision whether it is approved or approved with conditions or rejected or more information. Whatever is there, we are going to tick that. Then decision date, here we are going to specify date and decision explanation. That means here we are going to explain what kind of decision they have taken and conditions. So if they are putting any conditions, here we are going to specify and approval signature. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Then let me show you a real-time change request, how we used to do. So we used to follow this process. So this is our format which we used to do in real time. Okay. So as I said, I was working for product-based company. So like we used to develop the applications for microfinance lenders. So who are these microfinance lenders means, in US, if you are applying for a loan, first they are going to check your credit score. So in case if your credit score is low, they are going to deny your loan. They won't approve. So those customers, they will approach microfinance lenders. So these microfinance lenders, they are going to give the loan personally by charging high rate of interest. Okay. For this kind of microfinance lenders, we used to develop the applications. So these lenders are going to give different types of loans. Like it could be payday loan, installment loan, or vehicle loans, or line of credit, all those loans. So in this way, we have nearly 15 to 20 clients. Okay. So we have divided the change request form into three parts. The first part is related to client. So project ID, that is Checkmate. So Checkmate is our client, one of our client. So changes in. So Checkmate is requesting changes in all loans. Okay. Then customer and location, that is Checkmate Phoenix, Arizona, and date received. So we have received on 2nd May 2016. Date of initiation. So we started initiating on the same day. Initiated reference. If you want to give any reference, here you can give. Then initiated by Andrew Partlow. So he is the concerned person from client end. So he has given this request. And change type, whether it is a bug or new requirement or implement. So it is a new requirement. Okay. And what is change description? So that is employee number update. For deposited transactions must display employee number of 2, and for online payments must display employee number 3. So this is the change the client is asking. So what is this means? Actually, we have implemented, developed a application for this Checkmate. So Checkmate is going to do this business online and offline. So they have multiple stores in different locations. That means if user want to have a loan, they can visit to the store or they can apply through online. Okay. Now, once if the checkmate is giving loan to the borrower, after that, when coming to payment, so here the checkmate is getting payments through store as well as through online, but they are unable to identify once they process. After that, if they want to check which one is online and which one is store, they are unable to identify. So there is no proper factor which is going to differentiate. So this is the problem the client is facing. Now, what kind of change the client required is, so whenever if you are doing store payment, that means if the borrower is coming to the store and paying his installment amount, so the system should display employee number 2 beside the transaction. It is an indicator. And in the same way, if borrower is doing online payment, so after payment, the system should display that as employee number 3. Okay. Now what happens at the end of the month if you want to spool the payment history report? So in that it will be indicated. So employee number 2, whatever the transactions that are there, employee number 2, those all are store payments. And whatever the transactions that are there, employment number 3, those are online payments. So this is the change the client wants. Okay. Any enclosure means he has not given any enclosures. And then next part 2. So we have kept these changes in the bug tracker and it has generated a number called as BT number 1688 and date reviewed. If you want to give date, you can give. And action initiated, whether is initiated or accepted or rejected or clarification needed. Okay, it is initiated. Then priority, whether it is urgent or as soon as possible or desirable. It is as soon as possible. Then expected completion date. So we are going to complete within 7 working days from the date of approval. So whenever the client is going to give approval, from that we are going to take 7 working days. Okay. Then expected UAT release date. If you want to give UAT release date, you can give. Then part 3. Part 3, what kind of action we are taken. So this is a description which I have explained you here only. Then proposal solution. Okay. So moving forward, the future store midday depositor transaction should be displayed with employee number 2, and for online payments will display employee number 3 for the future online payments. Okay. So rest of the transactions are same as it is, and these changes will apply for future store deposit and online payments only, and new employee numbers will be displayed on customer loan history and respective reports. That means once we develop, okay, so once we develop, then these all changes will take place. So for midday deposits, it will show as employee number 2. For online payments, it will show as employee number 3. And whatever the other transactions are there, they will be same as it is. Okay. Then here to display employee number 2 for store deposit transactions, it is a new development, and developer is going to take 8 hours and tester is going to take 2 hours. So total is 10 hours. In the same way, to display employee number 3, it is also a new development. Developer is going to take 4 hours, QA is going to take 1 hour, 5 hours, total 15 hours. So if you say $80, so 80 into 15, it comes to $1,200 to make these changes. Okay. Then actual due date of completion 7 working days from date of approval. Then total actual efforts is 15 hours, estimated effort is 15 hours. Then prepared by so and so person and verified and approved by so and so person. Okay. So in this way, we are going to prepare the change requests. Okay. Then here I'm going to give you one PPT. It will explain the entire change request process in flow diagram. So what are the different steps? So you can see these are the steps that will take place in change request process. So first we are going to collect business requirements from clients, and then we are going to enter that in the bug tracker. Then we will do impact analysis, then price estimation, then we will send it for client approval. So in case if the client is approving, then CR will be ready for assignment. Then the CR assignment, we are going to assign this CR to a team member. Then we are going to have functional discussion with them. Then they will keep the CR in the development process. Okay. Then after developing is completed, they will be doing unit testing. Okay. Yeah. So once unit testing has been done, then we are going to send it for code release for QA testing. Then version will be labeled, and if the test is passed, in case if it is passed, then we will be deployed to UAT. In case if it is failed, and again in case again we are going to keep in the development process and check why it is getting failed. Okay. So once it is deployed to UAT, we are going to do unit testing. Again, we will check whether the test is passed, then we are going to release to the production. If the test is failed, again we are going to keep in the development process. Okay. So I will share this process flow also with you. Then next one is, so apart from this change request form, the BA is going to prepare MOM. So MOM stands for minutes of meeting. So what is this means? Like, see, whenever, yeah, so whenever we are going to have meetings with the clients or calls with the clients, it is not possible to make the entire team attending to these meetings or client. For example, if your team size is 100, so 100 members cannot attend the meeting, or 100 members cannot attend the class. Okay. So what happens means, here the main persons are going to attend the meeting, like lead developer, lead tester, project manager, BA, solution architect. Okay. So all these persons are going to attend meeting. Okay. Then now, as all persons are not attending the meeting, it is the responsibility of the BA to explain to the other team what is happening in the meeting. So for that purpose, what he has to do is, he has to he has to listen what are the points that IT team and the clients are discussing. So what kind of conversation that is going on between these two. And once like the meeting is completed, so the BA has to prepare the minutes of meeting, and he will socialize to the entire team. So the entire team will come to know, okay, in this meeting, these are the points discussed, and this is the solutions we have given to the client. So for that purpose, we are going to prepare MOM, that is minutes of meeting. So actually, we used to have call every alternate Thursday at 10 p.m. Okay, and this is the format we are going to use. So meeting agenda is, meeting name is bi-weekly portfolio meeting, and objective is to know the status of the project. So meeting date is 10th March 10 p.m. and location is conference call only. So this is the dial number, this is the passcode. Okay. Then next one is a meeting invitees and participants. Okay. So facilitator is checkmate. The client is arranging this meeting, and from our end, these are the people who are going to attend to the meeting. In case if anyone is getting absent, then we are going to specify here, and published by, here we are going to give the BA name who is going to publish and date. Okay. And in this way, we are going to put the points like item, request, and requested by. So once the meeting is started, so the client is saying, when replying to any of the following requests, financial adjustments, removal of deposits, reversal of Q fund, deposits in Q fund, manual deletion of any loan record. So any other monetary one-off transaction adjustment. So please include iwatson@callcheckmate.com in your response, and please continue to include the loan code in the subject line of your response email so that we can easily search for a specific items if necessary. Okay, so this is requested by the client. Then once the client is requesting this, what Q fund is nothing but our IT company. So what kind of decision they have given means, as suggested, we will include Lara Watson, that is iwatson@callcheckmate.com in our email response for all the above requests, and also include loan numbers in the email subject. So this is the response given by Murli. Murli is our project manager. Then after listening to this response, the checkmate. So Andrew said that, okay, great, thanks. Okay. So in this way, whatever the points we are discussed, we are going to keep all this in this MOM, and we will socialize so that the entire team will come to know what happened in the meeting and what kind of discussion happened. Okay. So this is another document which BA is going to prepare. Then, yeah. So this is all about your CMS, that is module number 12, change management process. Okay. So tomorrow we will see with module number 13. Okay.
Okay, thank you.